Well, MEC of Finance in the North West Province, Motlalepula Rosho, has just tabled the provincial budget and allocation of funds to different departments and municipalities, or rather dealing with municipality issues in the North West Province. Allow me to welcome MEC Rosho. Thank you so much and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. Let's talk about the critical and focus point of that budget speech.
No, thank you very much, and let me also greet the viewers at home. Look, this budget, it is a people's budget, but it's a deliberate budget in the coming financial year. We are going to focus on infrastructure, and the reason why we have prioritized infrastructure is to ensure that we start to ignite economic activities through creating sustainable job opportunities. The challenges that we have on infrastructure, we will have an integrated planning process whereby it will be monitored, it will be followed through a collective of EXCO as well as the technical team in making sure that we implement projects as planned. The second area of importance that is important, it is through the local government support. The Coxstar department will be providing support on just short-term interventions on water challenges. But that does not suggest that planning around infrastructure grants that are allocated through the Department of Water and Sanitation will be abandoned. We need to follow through that process, and there's already a technical team, or a political team led by the Minister and the Premier together with the MEC for Coxstar in making sure that planning, monitoring, and evaluation is done appropriately to ensure that your RBIC, the WSIC, is implemented. So the allocation is just for quick intervention measures as and when there are challenges in various municipalities. The last one is supporting local government through financial recovery plans, which actually in the last provincial budget we did indicate that of the 43 municipalities that are in financial crisis in the country, 12 of them are in the Northwest. So we have now appointed EXCO representatives. So EXCO reps, they are experts who've been in local government who will assist us to ensure that we implement financial recovery plans. Remember, municipalities, why are they not able to provide services to our communities? It's because they've been adopting unfunded budgets during their IDPs. They do consultations with communities. They make commitments on services that they'll provide to them. When they get back to council, they adopt a plan that is not funded, which is an unfunded plan. So as a result of that, in line with Section 1395 of the Constitution, you read together with the Chapter 13 of the MFM, I think it's Section 138 to 140, talks to municipalities that are in financial crisis. You need to put a measure, and that measure is like your business rescue in a private entity. So you put a financial recovery plan. It's paid, and remember that it's an ambit of the purview of the Minister of Finance. However, the Minister of Finance has allowed MECs for finance in various provinces through the budget council processes to be able to implement that mandatory financial recovery plan. This will assist municipalities to start to adopt and to fund a budget. Remember, this is not going to be overnight. They have financial plans. We must monitor that, assist them with revenue collection, asset consolidation of assets, ensure that your 30 days payment also becomes a reality. It's going to be a long journey, by the way. It will take about 18 for you to have an appropriate, a well, credible, implemented financial recovery plan, which can actually yield results of a credible budget that is funded, that can be able to assist municipalities to provide basic service to our communities. It will take about 2 to 3 years.
And let's talk about departments, MEC, that have had maybe their budgets increased. What influenced that decisions, and how is that budget allocation to this department going to assist them in turning things around?
Let's take education department. They are the biggest beneficiary in the budget. Education and health over years, they've been the department, the social sector cluster. In education, let's start first with the learner transport. The allocation for COSATMA, remember, stands to benefit education in transportation of our learners. We've had the challenges of accruals over time, that every year when we close the books of the financial year, we close the books, especially COSATMA closes the books with the serious accruals. and which defeats the intended objective of making sure that learners are provided with learner transport. We have given them additional 150 million just to ensure that they also implement the decision of the Section 100, whereby, remember, there's a court judgment that the learner transport contract was set aside and need to be re-advertised. So finally we are at a point that is going to be advertised, and that will actually create an enabling environment to support the learner support teaching program. But also your Department of Education receives more budget because we need to respond to, if you can recall, if the minister pronounced the transfer of the functions of the ECD to Department of Education from Social Development. We need gradually to ensure that we continue to enhance that function, and we need to make sure that it's more supported, because the basic foundation, it also plays a critical role into the future of how young people are able to mainstream in different skills that can be absorbed by the job market. Issues of data, I mean, for education, for libraries, is also going to add value. Lastly, I think issue of Mahikeng refurbishment and maintenance for the Mahikeng Stadium, I think it's one of the areas that we need to focus on, because it can be able to reposition Mahikeng as a capital city for any activities. Either it's we used to have your Vodacom Challenge games in Mahikeng Stadium. So I think this allocation in the next two financial years will start to introduce some form of activities that can start to have good traction for Mahikeng as a capital city.
You closed it off by reassuring the people of the province that despite the scarcity of resources, this budget will address the needs of the people in the province. How so?
Yes, we are committed to that. When we started in 2019, remember we introduced the budget, but we had to repurpose the budget due to COVID. So we had serious challenges in responding to many other challenges, because we had to redirect most of the budget to the Department of Health in responding to COVID-19 challenges. So currently, with the budget that we've allocated, especially around infrastructure, many of you, almost 5.9 billion that we are putting under infrastructure, that will start to ignite other opportunities for small business entrepreneurs. But also it will also, with infrastructure focus, where we are deliberate in monitoring the implementation plans of our infrastructure projects, can start to restore hope to our communities that we are serious about saving our communities out there and making sure that we create an infrastructure that is conducive, and that infrastructure that is conducive can be able to create other investment opportunities, and will also harness or strengthen our revenue collection envelope as a province. Remember, we want also to meet the 5% revenue collection standards going forward, but it's not been easy with the challenges that have been confronted by the province. Also with COCTA, with the support that COCTA is providing jointly with Treasury and other departments going forward, I think it will also assist us to restore that hope to our communities that we are very serious. We know the fact that there are challenges, and we would want to actually ensure that those challenges are confronted and we start to save our communities. But infrastructure becomes the key strategic thrust for us to start to ignite other opportunities in the province, because it will create jobs, it will attract investment, and many of our communities will start to participate in the mainstream of the economy, especially our women, our people with disabilities, our veterans as well as young people.
Thank you so much for your time. MEC Motlalepula Rosho, MEC of Finance in the North West Province, has just tabled that provincial budget, with key issues that are highlighting issues of infrastructure development, issues of municipalities, together with healthcare services, amongst others. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Refiloe Seboko in Mahikeng in the Northwest.